What's up, guys? It is the final day. It's Sunday morning from the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo here in Castle Rock, Colorado. And I got Jake and Skylar from Mountain Man Constrictors.
What's up,
You
guys?
got the jerseys. I love the branding. Your T-shirts are awesome too,
Thank you,
man.
thank you.
Caught it when I saw it coming in. I don't know you guys. We haven't met before. I think we got different regions and that kind of thing,
definitely.
which is something that's really cool about these kind of shows.
Yeah.
But take a minute and introduce yourself to people that might not know you all.
Yeah, so we're Mountain Man Constrictors. We're out of Salt Lake. Started as hobby breeders. We partnered up, and now we're doing a lot of shows. I think this year we did by the time we're finished, it'll be 15 or 16 shows.
Very cool. Where's the range? Where can people find you out on the road?
So we're typically doing a lot of shows in Utah, Idaho. We did some in California this year.
Yeah.
And then this is our first time out to Colorado. So
how saturated in that? What do you call that region? That's not the Pacific Northwest, is it? It's just the inner Northwest. What do you call that? I don't know. Utah, Idaho.
The Utah region.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, Rocky Mountain area, really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. How do you find the market there? Is it saturated? Do you find that there's less breeders in that area? I don't hear many breeders in that area. So what's the...
I mean, it can be. There's not a lot of big breeders.
Yeah.
A couple hobbyists and stuff like that.
It's like TSK's out of Spanish Fork in Utah.
Oh, that's
so
pretty
there's
solid.
some
There's
big
a couple
ones,
big ones, but
not a terrible amount.
Yeah. I was doing so I moved from Florida about a year ago to Minnesota, and I got looking one day just I was bored on metrics. There's 10 times as many breeders on Morph Market in Florida as there are in Minnesota, but there's only 4 times the population.
Yeah.
So that means it's way overcrowded. And I was
Yeah.
like, maybe that's what I need to look at when I choose where to travel to.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a show in Fargo,
Makes
North
sense.
Dakota, and everybody's like, you got to do the Fargo show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why? And they're like, it's one show a year, and there's not another show for 4.5 hours around it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sense.
okay.
That's a really
All right.
good point, and that's kind of how it is when we go up to Idaho too.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of breeders there. It's definitely more of a pet market.
Okay.
But, we try to we have our projects, our high end stuff, and that's usually the stuff that goes on Morph Market. We'll put everything on there, but that's the stuff that usually isn't going to sell at that type of show.
Yep.
But there's not a lot of options for good high
Variety.
quality
We have a lot of
variety
variety.
and pet stuff.
I think that's why we do pretty well.
I find-
we've gone to.
Like you say, the higher end stuff takes almost like a hand sell on Instagram or messaging specific buyers that or Morph Market. But that up to 450, 500? I mean, you sell 8 or 10 snakes at one of those shows. I don't know about you guys. For me, I'm like,
That's good.
I'll do that every weekend if I can.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I do like that, and those things can fund the high end projects.
Exactly.
And we all know there's misses. I mean, short of buying 2 triple visuals and never having hats, which I don't know about you guys, but I can't do that. Can't pull that off. So, that's always a good out, those kinds of shows.
Yeah.
So I like mixing those up.
Well, and that's really kind of our bread and butter. What pays the bills is going to be the
Absolutely.
pet stuff because, like you said, we go to those shows, we sell 10 of them. That's a really good show. When we do find that off person that's maybe a little bit more serious than a hobby breeder, and we sell a high end animal, that's great too. We're happy either way, but yeah, I mean, definitely the byproduct, if you will, the pet stuff of what we're trying to aim for is what keeps the lights on.
That's the bread and butter.
Definitely. And for me, I've always felt all that stuff that we work with and we want to go for, at the end of the day, a banana enchi clown is still one of the most amazing things you can
Beautiful.
lay your eyes
Yes.
on, right?
Yeah.
There's it's still got to have that wow factor to bring somebody in. I don't need to lecture somebody about how it's a triple head, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, and it's just a brown mush. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, this is amazing. And they're like,
Trust me,
I like
trust
that
me, it's cool.
purpose.
right, yeah, this is
Yeah.
why you're going to pay $1,000 for this. And they're like, I like the one that's 200 because that is killer. And I think we get away from that sometimes, and I think that's okay to push and to be proud with, and just I always see kids around the room, that's what they're going to get going into, and then they'll evolve. They'll grow too.
I think that's the number one thing that we probably sell is banana corals. So
Yeah.
really,
Well, and anytime we produce blue-eyed Lucy's, blue-eyed Lucy's what brought me back into ball pythons.
Yeah.
I kept ball pythons probably 15 or 20 years ago, and the size like a normal,
Mhm. Yep.
And I got out of. I got out of snakes for a while, and then I stumbled back across Brian Barczyk's vlog channel.
Yeah.
I used to watch his snake bites years and years ago,
Mhm.
and I was just seeing everything that was going on in the ball python world,
Right.
and I was like, that was insane. And like me, just like so many other people, like my first snake back into ball pythons was a blue-eyed Lucy.
Oh, okay. Mine was a pastel banana.
Yeah.
Just the same thing, you know, like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I had two normals in 1998, and I remember being at a pet store, and they had an albino and they had a piebald. And, like, they may as well have been 50 grand. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember being like, that's more than half a house
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah.
And then I went to like a Repticon or something 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, what happened? What happened, man?
Something's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
here
I was
now.
like, all right, it's time to figure this out. So, what? I know that your brand is Mountain Man Constrictors. So, what? Any other species that you guys work with? Is it primarily ball pythons?
Primarily
What's your
ball
thing?
pythons. This year, I should be doing some berm combos.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Like I just have a couple berms, mostly pets, and we're just like, hey, you know what? Let's
Yeah.
pair them. And some bloods, same thing.
Okay.
My wife does crested geckos, gargoyles.
Oh, nice. So the cresties and the gargoyles, they'll produce year round, right? You get a couple out of them a year.
Yeah.
And then, like, what's the clutch size on it? Berms are pretty big clutch size,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, usually.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have. I mean, my female's first time, you know, so usually first time you're looking like 20, maybe.
It's pretty
30,
good.
but
It's pretty good inventory.
That's pretty
of
good,
berms.
yeah.
You got to
Good
find.
Yeah, I mean,
places
when you're
for all
looking
those
at
to
a
go.
big berm, you know, they can lay you a lot of eggs.
No, well, that's my thought process. Like, well, what if they don't sell? Like, you gotta have a plan for that.
Yes.
So, but
Right.
that's pretty cool, though. And how many berms do you have? Just the
I have
two? You three. Okay. All right.
I've got a male and a couple females.
Couple females.
So
All right.
one of them's growing up. I got a albino pied from Bob Clark. My
Okay,
wife got
cool.
that for me for Christmas,
Yeah,
and she's the best snake in my collection. Like, I
that's
love
cool,
her.
man.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's very cool. What do you guys do outside of snakes? Is this your thing? What do we get? What else you guys got
Really?
going on?
That's about it. We do a lot of off-road scootering. We got some pretty sweet
Off-road
off-road
scooter.
electric
Uh-huh.
scooters.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
like
kids,
like
family.
high powered. You know, like mine will do like 60 miles an hour, and it's like dual suspension
Yeah.
and
When you say scooter, like you
yeah, like
sitting on
stand
it? No,
no
you're
stand up
standing.
scooter.
Ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding,
yeah.
ding.
You're doing 60 on a stand-up.
Yeah, man.
Uh-huh.
So I went out mountain biking with Robin this morning,
Yeah.
and so I'm a road cyclist guy, and he was like, "Got to get you on a mountain bike." I'm like,
Yeah.
It's cool, and it was great. I had a great time. But he's got one of these like e-bikes.
Mhm.
It's like a motorcycle
Yeah,
on the
right,
trail. I was like,
right.
"I'm gonna be off the side of the
Yeah.
mountain, man.
I know.
And slow this thing down, man."
I know we were
Same
talking about
idea.
bringing it out, and they're like, "Oh, are we gonna have time?" And like, we didn't bring them, and
Yeah.
We
totally
should've.
regret it because there's so many bike trails and stuff around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met at like 6:45. We probably did 5 miles total, two laps around one of the trail loops. You know, and it was definitely starter stuff, but also for like I say, like a cycling guy, like even a foot and a half down, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I got guttural, like,
Right.
don't let anything happen, you know. So, okay, now I have to Google off-road scooters.
Yeah, they're so much fun. Well, and you know, where we live, there's a lot of off-road trails.
Yeah.
And like we both got them for all of our kids and stuff.
Okay.
And so
Good family time.
yeah, good family
Yeah,
time.
yes,
We'll
yeah.
get our families together, go out on the weekend, and there's lots of like paved bike trails too.
Yeah,
So
right. That's what I
so we'll do mostly that with the kids. But
Yeah, I like. I'm from Minneapolis, so when I was cycling in Florida, everything's on the road with the cars. And,
Yeah.
You know, got to Minnesota, everything's paved, no car. I can go 30 miles in either direction.
Yeah.
You know, I can get a 60-mile ride in if I want,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not see a car all the
Wow.
time. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, finally,
That's
I can
awesome.
Get back. Yeah. So I enjoy that. I'm getting back to it. I have to Google these. I can't even envision these things. I'm like, this is,
yeah,
this is
we'll,
something
we'll show you. They're
All right.
beastly. They're
They're
fun.
fun. When he brought them up, I was like, "You're a nerd, bro."
Yeah.
And then I rode one. I was like, "Okay,
All right, this
I
makes
get it.
sense.
I know
get
that's
it.
like my other obsession. Is like when I'm sitting on YouTube, it's either electric, like personal electric vehicles,
Yeah.
like the Surons, electric scooters, the stuff like that, or snakes.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
it's like
basically
pretty
it.
much the
Right.
only thing that I do.
No, mine's guitars and snakes. I'm
Yes.
like, Gibson Les Pauls or ball pipe.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for me. Hey, so where can people find you? Where you got some more shows on the books for this year, or where are people going to
Yeah,
see
actually,
you, out in person?
next weekend we're going to be at the Magic Valley Reptile Show in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Okay.
We've got a couple local shows in Salt Lake area. So we have Wasatch Reptile Expo. That one's a cool one. It's been going around for almost 30 years.
Wow. Okay. And that's in Utah.
In Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that one will be in Salt Lake City. We've got a Show Me Reptiles in Farmington, Utah, and then another one in Boise in October. So yeah, we've got I want to say we've got 4 or 5 more shows to do for the rest of the year.
Cool. A couple more up in the air kind of deal.
Yeah. And where can we find you? Instagram?
We're everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
So Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube.
North Market. So Instagram is Constrictors, and I think everything else is Mountain Man Constrictors.
Okay. Well, very cool. Guys, check them out. Constrictors on Instagram. Go see them locally in the Northern Rockies region, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And check them out. Give them the support. Guys, thanks for hanging out. It's always really cool to get to meet new faces. And thanks for, I'm glad that we connected here at the show. It's one of the great things about these shows.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait to see you the next time. And we'll wrap it up for now. Guys, stick around. We got a lot more lives coming today, and I will be hanging out with Robin as well. We're going to do a branding and some of the new stuff that Robin's got cooking up later today too. And Brian from Altitude Exotics is coming over very shortly. So, cheers, everybody, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Hey,
see you next time. All right?
You.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it.
Peace out, guys.
Take it easy on those scooters. I got to see you the next show. All right.